remain top of the table over in Germany, making it 3 wins out of 3. But they've got some good company up there, including Dortmund. That's right. Can they challenge for the top spot this weekend? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at match number 4, that's right, over in the Bundesliga, and we'll get to it in a second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe, you want to subscribe for Bundesliga action, Blapping Rovers, World Football, we're going to all here under one Rooski, that's right, Bayern, perfect record so far, 3 wins out of a possible 3, all the way down the bottom though, Heidenheim, also perfect record, perfect in losing, 3 wins out of 3. But what will go on this weekend? We'll see, of course, if anyone can shake it up at the top of the table. We'll get to that in a minute. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. So we're looking forward to this weekend's games. Of course, interrupted this week with a return of the Champions League. But what will go on with the matches? Well, we're going to get into it right here, right now. Firstly, though, recap of the results last time around. And these are those, of course. My predictions are on the left-hand side. The real deal was on the right. And I think I did, well, we'll see how I did. I can't really remember. 2-1 winners by Leverkusen. That was my pick. It was a 3-1 win in the end over Frankfurt. Of course, the Erik ten Hag era is over. Quick as you like. Freiburg with a 3-1 win over Stuttgart. I went with a 2-0 win. Mainz. They did lose to Leipzig, a 1-0. I went with a 2-1 win. Wolfsburg and Köln, 3-3 thriller. That one. Union Berlin with a loss to Hoffenheim, 4-2 winners there. Heidenheim did lose to Dortmund, 2-0. On with a 3-0 win. Bayern did beat Hamburg. 5-0, I went with a 4-0 win. St. Pauli beat Augsburg 2-1. I went with a 2-1 win. And of course, Gerardo Sone sacked by Mönchengladbach about bloody time. Of course, shocking start to the campaign, losing at home 4-0 to Werder Bremen. So the table looks like this, guys. It is Bayern top of the pops. 3 wins out of a possible 3. Dortmund are in second, with Köln and St. Pauli also yet to taste defeat. Going down is Heidenheim, it's Hamburg, and Gladbach are in a bit of trouble as well. But what will go on this week? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Of course, we've got the old Super Brewski. I'm still trying to update that link, so bear with me. That is it. But who, of course, is kicking ass and taking names? Well, we're going to jump into it right here, right now. So while I navigate, chat amongst yourselves right here, right now, and I'll showcase you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Do. Oh my gosh. That is true. I'm number 1. Okay, just play catch up. You're in my bloody dust, guys. You're in my bloody dust. 10.5 points for me. Jimmy Pantastoni there in second place, just shy though. 10 points. Rowley, also with a 9.5. But guess what? I am top spot, and I'm looking very, very good at the moment. And of course, that means I'm also top spot as captain, as the main man in the league. 4 points clear. Eat my dust. Eat my dust. I tell you, I'm bloody fantastic. That's right. That's why I am the prediction king, guys. That is why they call me the prediction king. I might have a bit shit in La Liga. I might be a bit shit in Serie A, but I'm not shit in the Bundesliga, baby. So that is the situation there. But if you want to challenge me, this is now the time to do it. Get involved, get challenging, because I'm going to lay down some picks right now that are going to be absolutely fantastic. So let's get into it then, shall we? Looking forward to the next round of games, and we've got a whole stacked out picture list once again over in the Bundesliga. So we're going to kick it all off with a trip to Stuttgart. That's right, it's the MHP Arena. Sebastian Hoeneß's boys are 12th right now. They got 3 points for the season. Up against St. Pauli and Alexander Blezin, who are 4th. With 7 points to the name, goodness gracious me. Coming into this, they have played 16 times since 1995. 12 wins Stuttgart, 2 wins St. Pauli, 2 draws between the two sides. They last played at this venue. It was a 1-0 win for St. Pauli back in December 2024. Of course, coming into this, St. Pauli on the back of that 2-1 win over Augsburg. Stuttgart losing at home to Freiburg. Bookies for this one, they do go in favour of Stuttgart here, but this one's tight. I am also leaning, I think, towards Stuttgart for the victory on this, but St. Pauli's form is giving me a little bit of concern on this one, so it could go the other way, or maybe even right down the middle. Let's go to Bremen now, as they take on Freiburg on the 20th of September, coming to the Wasserstadion. Stefan Hurst's Werder Bremen are 9th right now, 4 points for them. That's back-to-back unbeaten against Freiburg under Julian Schuster, who are 13th right now, and 3 points for them. They played 52 times since 1993. 28 wins for Bremen, 14 wins for Freiburg. There's been 10 draws between the two sides. Coming into this, they last played in Bremen. 1-0 win as it was for Freiburg. Way back in October 2024. It's been back-to-back wins for Freiburg, picking up back-to-back clean sheets as well. And they're coming into this on the back of that 3-1 win over Stuttgart. Bremen themselves, though, scoring 7 goals in the last 2 games combined after that 4-0 win over Mönchengladbach. And they're, of course, coming into this slightly favoured for the victory here. And I think I'm also going to give it to Bremen after that performance last time. And, of course, the goal-scoring exploits from earlier. Meanwhile, Augsburg taking on Mainz. That's kind of to the WWK Arena. Sandro Wagner's boys are 11th right now. 3 points for them for the season up against Mainz. And Bo Henriksen, they are 15th with just the 1 point. They played 33 times since 2007. 14 wins apiece and 5 draws. They last played over at Augsburg. It was a 3-2 win for Mainz way back in September 2024. Mainz are actually unbeaten against them in the last 3. And they're coming in as though on the back of a defeat, though, losing to Leipzig most recently. Augsburg also losing to St. Pauli to make it back-to-back defeats in the league. But the bookings will give it slightly, very, very slightly. It smells like a draw here when you look at the odds, but it goes in favour slightly to Mainz. I'm going with the 1-1 scoreline, of course, because it is one of those. Meanwhile, move forward is Hoffenheim taking on Bayern. Of course, one-sided affair, you would imagine on this one. Coming out of the Priso Arena, Christian Ilsner's boys are 6th right now with 6 points for them out of a possible 9. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 up against Bayern, though, who look A-OK. And the Vinny Company, they've won 6 on the bounce in all shapes and all sizes. They played 36 times since 2008. 5 wins Hoffenheim, 24 wins for Bayern. There's been 7 draws. They last played over at Hoffenheim. It was a 4-0 win for Bayern back in May 2025. Of course, Bayern did the double over Hoffenheim, scoring 9 goals in the 2 games combined. Meanwhile, though, Bayern have actually scored 8 goals in the last 2 games combined, and fresh off the back of that 5-0 win over Hamburg. Hoffenheim are no slouches these days, coming into this on the back of that 4-2 win over Union Berlin. But the bookies will go convincingly for Bayern, as will I. But of course, they've got Champions League football as well on the agenda. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win for Bayern on this one. Meanwhile, the returning juggernaut Hamburg taking on Heidenheim in the Battle of the H's. Coming to the Volkspark Stadion, Hamburg under Merlin Pultzen. 17th right now, just 1 point for the season. Of course, coming into on back-to-back defeats. Heidenheim, the Frank Schmidt, they're at 18th right now, no points for them. And they've taken on Hamburg 10 times to 2018. 4 wins for the host, 3 wins for the visitors. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Hamburg. It was a 1-0 win for Hamburg back in August 2022. That was in the Zweite Bundesliga. Hamburg, though, on the back of back-to-back defeats, haven't scored a goal this season in the Bundesliga. Taking on a Heidenheim side who have only got 1 goal this season. So it looks like goals are going to be at a minimum in this one. The bookies, though, for this will go with Hamburg, as will I. I'm going to give them a benefit of the doubt on this one, 2-1 win, which, of course, could kick-start their season. Meanwhile, Leipzig taking on Köln, also on Saturday, the 20th of September at the Red Bull Arena. Leipzig under Eli Werner. They are 7th right now, 6 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 4 up against Köln under Lukas Kvasnic, who are 3rd right now, 7 points for the season, and are unbeaten in the last 13 matches. They played a Red Bull at the Arena. Well, they played Leipzig 14 times in 2016. 7 wins for Leipzig, 2 wins for Köln. There's been 5 draws. They last played at this venue. It was a 6-0 win for Leipzig, who's actually scored 11 goals in the last 2 against Köln. That was back in October 2023. Leipzig on the back of that 1-0 win over Mainz. Back-to-back clean sheets for them. Meanwhile, Köln on the back of that 3-3 thriller away to Wolfsburg. The bookies will go with Leipzig. They should go with Leipzig. They've got goals in their locker, or at least clean sheets in their locker. I'm going with a 2-0 win for them. On this one, let's go to Frankfurt now as they take on Union Berlin. That's until Sonntag, 21st of September at the Deutsche Bank Park. Frankfurt under Dino Topmöller, 5th right now, 6 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 4 up against Union Berlin, and the Stefan Baumgart, 14th for them, just 3 points for the season. But they're taking on Frankfurt 20 times since 2001. 10 wins for Frankie, 4 wins for Union Berlin. There's been 6 draws. They last played over at the Deutsche Bank Park Stadium as a 2-1 win for Union Berlin back in March 2025. Union Berlin are unbeaten against Frankfurt over the last 3. That's 1 win and a couple of draws. Frankie, though, on the back of that 3-1 loss to Leverkusen. Union Berlin also losing to Hoffenheim 4-2 last time around. The bookies will go with Frankfurt. I'm going with them as well. 3-1 win, comfortably done. 3 points in the bag. Moving on to Bayer Leverkusen up against my boys Borussia Mönchengladbach. Coming out at that Bay Arena, that's right. Leverkusen under Kasper Hulsmann. They are 10th right now, 4 points for the season. That's on back-to-back games now without a loss. Gladbach under Eugen Polanski. 16th at the table, just 1 point. I'm not too sure if that's a permanent hire or not. I haven't done much deep diving just yet. But they played 63 times since 1992. 32 wins for Leverkusen, 11 wins for Gladbach. There's been 20 draws. They last played in Leverkusen, 3-1 win as it was back in January 2025. Leverkusen unbeaten against Gladbach over the last 6, including 4 wins and a couple of draws. They also picking up that win against Frankfurt most recently, and Gladbach losing convincingly back-to-back now. Also haven't scored a goal this season in the Bundesliga. Meanwhile, the odds of this one will go with Leverkusen, as will I, unfortunately. Got to go with a 2-0 win. No goals again as Leverkusen struggle. As Mönchengladbach struggle. Meanwhile, Dortmund will wrap it up against Wolfsburg. Put a bit of spicy game this one at the Signal Iduna Park. Dortmund under Niko Kovac are 2nd right now, 7 points for the season, unbeaten in the last 4. Up against Wolfsburg under Paul Simononis, unbeaten also in the last 4. And they've taken on Dortmund 59 times since 1997. 36 wins for the Yellow and Black, 12 wins for Wolfsburg, 11 draws. They last played at Dortmund, 4-0 win as it was for the Yellow and Black back in May 2025. They scored 7 goals in the last 2 against Dortmund. Back-to-back wins over them last season. And they're coming into this on the back of back-to-back clean sheets. Meanwhile, Wolfsburg on the back of back-to-back draws. Bookies will go with Dortmund. Yes, they will. As will I. Of course we will. 3-1 winners. A lot of goals in this one. And a lot of drama as well. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like, guys. It will look like this. Bayern top of the pops with 12 points. Dortmund were hot pursuit with 10. Frankie up there alongside them with Leipzig. Going down, Heidenheim, Marboys, Gladbach, and of course Mainz. That is that. This is the link for the Prediction League, and of course we'll be back for the next round of games over in Germany very, very soon. But until then, I'll see you soon whenever I return. But until then, we're done.